If you are traveling without one of these, please watch this video, even if you decide you don't want to buy it. Hi, welcome back to part 2 of travel gear that you're actually going to find useful. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll link it below. But this is basically a mini series that I'm doing, you showing travel gear that I actually use on my travels abroad and stuff that I think you're going to find really, really useful. So starting things off is this phone mount. Now I talk about this phone mount all the time, and I mean all the time, and the reason for that is not one of those pieces of gear that I was just looking for gear and found it. It is the solution to a problem that I found. So I travel quite a lot, I take flights quite a lot. I really like traveling, but I don't like flying so much, and the big reason for that is I get very, very bored on the flights. So like most of you, I'm sure, I download a lot of videos to be able to watch on the flights, and a big thing that I really hated was sort of sitting there holding my phone. I found it really awkward, my arms got tired, and inevitably when I wanted to sleep, we ran into issues there. The other thing I've tried to do is sort of balance my phone on the tray table, and that always ends the same, where a bit of turbulence happens and the phone falls straight through the gap. So all you do is unfold it, use this clip to clip it to the tray table in front of you, and then put your phone in like this. And then you've got a great way to be able to watch films. Yes, it does move. Yes, it does swivel 360 degrees. The second thing that I always bring on all of my trips, and pretty much everywhere I go, is this foldable water bottle. One of the big reasons that I got a reusable water bottle was I was so fed up with paying the prices at the airport for the water after security. But actually what I found is I wasn't a massive fan of the big, thick metal water bottles that people carry around with them, particularly if I'm traveling light. So I found this, which is a collapsible water bottle. You can fold it up pretty much so it just fits anywhere into a pocket. It's got a carabiner on the top to be able to clip to anything that you're having, but also it's slim enough to be able to fit inside my sling, inside the front of my sling, which means I can take it pretty much anywhere that I go. And the best thing is not having to pay the prices for the bottles at the airport and reduce single-use plastic. Most airports that I've been to have a water fountain that you can use and refill everything for free anyway. So I already showed a packable bag in my last video. This one's slightly different and slightly bigger. It's actually a packable rucksack. What I love about packable bags is if I'm traveling light and I'm just bringing my sling and my main backpack with me, when it comes to going on day trips, I don't tend to want to take the massive backpack with me. That's where this comes in. This is how it unfolds and how it used. Yes, it's probably not the most aesthetically pleasing rucksack in the world, and no, it's not going to be super comfortable if you're carrying around a lot of heavy stuff. But I found when I'm going on city breaks, this comes in really, really handy when I want to leave my main backpack at the room in which we're staying and just want to have something a little bit extra to carry some drinks around, if we're thinking of buying some souvenirs, some items like that. Or if I'm bringing my drone with me, I actually tend to take this instead. It just fits in everything really nicely and isn't a pain to carry around. So the fourth item is the Osmo Pocket 3, which I'm recording this video on. Now I was really debating whether to get an Osmo Pocket 3 or stick with my phone camera, as I think it's really good, but I went for it and I'm very glad that I did. I'm going to do a full in-depth video as to why I like the Osmo Pocket 3 and my review of it. But the long and short of it is, I find it really handy to have a second device purely dedicated to taking videos on the go. And it just means that worst case scenario, if it gets snatched or taken, I'm not losing my phone. And if I want to take a lot of recordings, videos, it just means it's on that external SD card rather than taking up space on my phone all the time. One of the other reasons I really like it is the video quality from this is absolutely amazing. I've seen it's actually smaller than my phone itself, so it fits in a really nice form factor. I can clip it to my bag to take some POV shots, which is really useful. And again, it just means that if it does get taken, worst case scenario, I'm not losing my phone with everything on it that I can keep in my pocket more often than not. And last but not least is this travel adapter from iBlockCube. And for me, it's one of the best purchases I've ever made. The two things that I find really difficult when going abroad, always you need some kind of adapter, whether you're going to the US, Australia, whether you're going to Europe, etc. And I didn't want to keep buying different travel adapters. The second problem that I faced, and probably the biggest one, is that often have quite a few things to plug in. So I wanted to bring an extension cable with me. I didn't want the bulk of having to carry around a full extension cable, and this is where this comes in. So as you can see, this sliding mechanism on the side gives you access to different plugs, with an EU one, a UK one, and one for the US and Japan. The other great thing about it is you've got 4 USB-A slots on the bottom and 1 USB-C slot on the side. And it also acts as a socket for one other plug, which I use to be able to fast charge my phone when I'm traveling. So all in all, I find this a really handy piece of gear. And honestly, it's the first thing in my bag other than my passport when I'm looking to go away somewhere. I even use this if I'm just going for trips in the UK, because again, it almost just acts as an extension cable for me, and I can just charge everything from one device. So if you found that useful, let me know below. I think I might do a part 3. There's a couple of other items that I haven't covered off today that I really do want to cover off, that I find really useful. Again, I'll leave everything that I talked about today in the description. And if you haven't seen part 1, please check it out here.